For all of us, I think.
Hello there.
Sir.
Greetings.
It is Tuesday, October 7th at 3:00 p.m. We are starting our police committee meeting. And if everyone would just say your name that are here, then that will count for roll.
Brent Caseman.
I'm Rich Salsa.
David Gursky.
Chris Workman.
And our guest,
Bill Narver.
Bill Narver, and I'm Diane Crocker. All right. Are there public comments? I'm assuming you're here to comment.
Actually, will, because I've got a 3:30 appointment for my dog to have shots.
He's driving the car away.
Just that, wanted to be in on the discussion. I knew part of today what might be on the 9th Street a little bit.
Yep.
Which is very near and dear to my heart. I did not put the signs up, but I couldn't disagree with them if you saw recent ones.
Mr. Narver, can you come to the table? Just I'm concerned that our microphone may not pick you up for a minute. Thanks.
Sometimes informal is nicer than real.
Were there signs put up? Is that what
Oh,
you're saying?
there were a few. You probably saw when you went past some new signs that people put up. I think they saw the article in the paper. Whoever put them up before decided to,
Enlarged.
yeah, do a bit better. I almost called you and said, hey, it was not me.
And were they just slow down?
And slow down, watch for wildlife and humans. So I couldn't disagree with them, and I guess
Sure.
that's kind of what we get. That's kind of what we get. I did find out a little bit more on wildlife and stuff, that clearing the sides out would help tremendously. And believe it or not, fencing both sides with an opening in the middle. Channel, yeah. They've done some of that, I guess, in eastern Oregon to get the deer and elk to go to a spot where you can see them quite a ways down.
They've even got overpass walks for them now.
Right, that would
On
be.
84, I think I saw.
So, anyway, that's why I wanted to bring forward and just kind of let you know that I've been working a little bit and trying to see what could potentially work. I don't know how wide the right-of-way is. They may be infringing a little bit on private property in order to get it in, so there may be more on that as far
I'm
as it's
also
going.
guessing that would be expensive for fencing that long.
I'm not sure. Depends on what route you want to go. If you want to put up some really good sturdy fencing, yeah, it could. If you want to go more T-posts and the non-climbing
Farm fencing.
farm fencing type of thing, it'd be a lot less. And I think that as far as clearing it, man, don't overlook the Boy Scouts. I was one Eagle Scout, and we had people calling on us when I was in it, say, hey, could you guys do this as a potential community service? Because always looking for community service, because in order to advance, you have to do community service. So
They do.
that might be a great Boy Scout merit badge or for advancement to coordinate something like that. Anyway, that was kind of what I wanted to let you know that I found out and stuff on that end, and didn't know. Very interested in your speed study too. That was the other.
Okay, let's quickly approve the minutes from August 8th, and then we'll get right into that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To approve the minutes of July 4, 20.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Salsa, seconded by Counselor Capron. Approve, say aye.
Aye.
Against?
We change that motion to August instead of July.
Oh, yes, and actually it's the 4th. It wasn't the 8th either, because we had it before the 7th.
August 4th.
Council.
Yeah.
So,
We'll count that as scrivener's error. We'll just note that we'll get the date corrected.
No.
August 4th.
Yes.
August, I'm carried.
I got you.
Okay,
Good.
thank you. All right. No discussion, so we're gonna move on. North 9th Street traffic update.
So we actually, in order to place that temporary radar sign there, we had to have Public Works install a signpost in that particular location. We got that mounted. They also we didn't request it, but they put a 25-mile-an-hour sign there. So we got an extra little bit of signage out of that
Nice.
project. And then the sign was up for a total of 12 days. There was a total traffic volume of 7,727 vehicles during that time period. And the average speed was 26.8, which is slightly slower than it was on the other side of the hill when we did that back in 2023. And granted, the study that was done in 2023 was also a 7-day traffic study, so a little bit shorter time frame. But the other thing that I would call attention to, it doesn't mean that all the traffic is doing 26.8 miles. And so that's an average. So we have some that are going much faster than that, and we have some that are going much slower than that. But generally, as I look through the numbers, there are 3 particular speeds that I'm looking at where we've got 2,077 vehicles, and they were doing 21 to 25 miles an hour. And kind of right in the middle from 26 to 30 miles an hour, we had 3,501 of those vehicles passing through between that speed range. And then additionally, from 31 to 35, we had 1,196. And then it drops off. So at 36 to 40, we have 265 vehicles. And on the other end of that spectrum, where it starts to really drop off as far as volume, we had 320, and that was a 16 to 20 miles an hour. So we've got kind of a wide variety of speeds, but I don't think that this data supports making any significant changes to that area with regards to traffic patterns.
Do you think having a 25-mile-an-hour sign there? Because when I first came over, I went, whoa, great. That's going to get people to slow down even before they see the sign. So I think that helped tremendously.
Definitely gonna be helpful.
And very well could have, yeah. And we had the sign was also not in static or stealth mode, so it was displaying the speed as kind of, just an indicator for folks to pay attention to how fast they're going. There's also a speed sign just above that, as a reminder as well as what the speed limit is. And then about a block and a half from there, as you move to the north, it goes up to 45 miles an hour as you enter the county.
That's
So
eventually supposed to be 35. Someday.
So those were the results of the speed study, and that would be my recommendation, is that I think it warrants changing anything at this point.
Great data.
I think more publicity about it has not hurt either.
Sure, yeah,
As
Brad's
far as
article,
letting
and
people know that that's
and quite a few homemade signs along that stretch, even up and over the hill as well, that I've noticed.
yeah. So they the citizens take notice.
Are homemade signs legal if it's on their own property?
Yeah. Well, I think we have an ordinance that I'm aware of against that.
And while we're kind of in sort of general area, my unofficial, very unofficial,
Yes.
count of the intersection of 9th and Pioneer. As I said, I'd be kind of on the
Yep.
watch for it. So I counted in a 30-day period, just when I'm walking, over 400 people that basically traverse that intersection. So that's only when I'm out walking. So obviously there's going to be more people than that I'm not seeing. But anyway, and it's because it's a busy stretch for people doing their loop walk.
Sure.
Because it's the only one that connects from that neighborhood all the way back to the neighborhood on the other side of 9th. So and it's dogs and cats on leashes, no less.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, there you have it.
So that would be maybe a 40-minute period that you're walking and counting?
But so it's a before and after, because I sort of go
okay.
towards Pioneer, up Pioneer towards Starlight. And then I do a big loop around and then come back on the 13th side and come up that direction. So it's kind of 2 10-minute slots, if you would.
So 20 minutes, 400 people, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah. No,
That was
the
a-
time of morning that I go,
Yeah.
or the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening that I go is also the kind of time that you see a lot of people out. Today, for example, I saw no less than 12 people, and just the time that I was
So
out.
it's a busy intersection.
It's
is what
busy.
you're saying,
It's just
yeah.
busy. Now, obviously, it's gonna drop off for the winter time and things like that, but it's just, there's a lot of folks out walking, being healthy. So,
Which is
anyway.
good. but-
I'm only forwarding that just to kind of as a placeholder, somewhere along the line, because obviously the shoulder or the corners of that particular intersection are not they don't have any ramps or anything like that on it, so stuff would have to be done, even if we consider putting some sort of crosswalk or something, which the idea would be to add more sort of reminder that, hey, this is a, place not to just go zipping up and down that hill. Anyway, so it's kind of a visual thing.
Can you tell us, some of our crosswalks are 2 lines, and some of them are 2 lines with
The bars.
horizontal bars, yeah. What's the difference? Does it mean anything different, or is it just the ones with the bars catch my attention?
Yeah, and I'm not sure, typically, we haven't been involved and the police hasn't been involved in that. I don't know if,
It's just a cost and the amount of visibility that you need. I prefer the bars as opposed to the lines. ODOT likes the lines because they're
We
cheap
got
and
more
easy to
visibility
maintain.
too this way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
most of the ones that we've been installing are the bars, but we have done lines still just to, we're trying to get several done. We'll do lines because it's better than what's there now, but the bars are preferred.
So the intersection at Pioneer and Ninth, is that county or city? City.
Yes.
Yes,
It is city.
So Ninth is county, Pioneer is city.
Isn't it city up to a certain point? Up until the crest of the hill or something?
Well, I was looking Kevin on that. I think it's to Maryland Drive is
yeah,
city.
just barely.
Yeah,
Pioneer's farther south.
Yeah.
uh,
yeah,
than
so it'd be
that, so-
city.
So it is something that we would have jurisdiction on. And how much paint, how much does that cost?
It's not a lot. It may be on we'll have to look. We have a line item for a bunch of Safe Roads for All line item in the TSP that we put in the capital project for this year. And I don't remember if that was one of the places that was listed, but it might be. I know that they're still looking to do some, but with the crosswalk stuff, we usually try to get ODOT to do that. They've got better, bigger equipment for doing more of it. I mean, we've got a little burner, but you guys stay out there forever.
I've seen them do that.
So we're looking to contract with ODOT to do the new crosswalks on 7th and 9th. And we'd probably look to have
On
them
Applegate.
on Applegate. We'd probably look them to do other stuff while they were here.
Isn't there one, I think there's one just beyond like Jonah's Market or something, or right in that area, that is just the 2 lines and people are not recognizing that
On Main Street?
going west. And so it would be nice if they're out here doing it, if they could add the bars in.
Yeah. I know we're getting approval from ODOT for 7th and 9th on Applegate Street, but I don't think we're asking for anything on Main Street right now.
Well, if they're in the area.
It'll cost money.
And sorry, would that be a conversation best had in the public works side of the house as opposed to this committee? Just, I want to make sure that we're,
No, I think this committee, it's fine coming from this committee
Okay,
as well.
all right.
So then we just tell Public Works to do it because Dave's crew's not gonna be out there.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
At some point, it turns into a Public Works project, but
Yeah, if it seems like if it doesn't cost much, that would be a safety benefit that we could.
So it's interesting to know that it's 12 days, did you say?
yes, it was 12 days.
So 7,000, almost 8,000 cars. That's a well-traveled
Yeah,
bit of road. So whatever you do, you also want it, like Chris said, you want to be more permanent because it'll just rub right off with that kind of traffic.
yeah. And I think those local streets, that number always sticks, those local streets. If I remember my figures right, I think a local street's built to take 12,000 trips per day on a local street. Which is quite a bit. I mean, I don't think anybody wants 12,000 cars per vehicle. But I believe that's what they're built capacity wise for. So it's a big number, but relatively speaking, I mean,
Right.
there's probably other places in town that have much higher traffic counts than that.
Sure.
So,
13.
yeah, and they service, we always, There's still local roads. Some of those do actually get categorized as like a minor collector or a major collector. But as far as arterials go, Highway 20 is the only arterial we have going through town.
Yeah.
And then our collector streets is really just 19th and 13th.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of streets like College Street or 9th Street that serve as kind of local collectors, but on paper and on the map, they're really just identified as local streets still, because it's not an arterial, it's not a collector, it's just a local street. It just happens to be a little bit busier. But local streets can take a lot of traffic and still function at a very high class. Because when they're looking at functionality, they're not looking at how many cars are on, they're looking at intersections and stop signs and stop lights, and they're looking at, is it functioning, as in, is it backing up traffic, or is the traffic able to move along there? And as much as we complain about the traffic on 9th Street, you never see a traffic jam.
No.
You never see it, so like it works, right? As far as getting traffic from point A to point B,
Yeah.
it's functioning. The concerns are how safely and how's that interaction between vehicles and pedestrians and animals, and there's kind of a mix, right? So
Sure.
we're not really talking about street functionality as far as classification goes. It's really just a matter of, is there a safer way to make that happen? So.
And just painting us crosswalks to start. And then to get, I don't know, at the schools, we use the flags that go by. I don't know if that is an additional cost or has to be
I think
zoned
the
some
school
way.
pays for those flags. The city doesn't pay for those. The flag does that as kind of an extra there. But they've actually got a cross guard at that spot now, a paid cross guard that they've put there. So I don't know how much the flags have been used other than after hours, but.
This is a citizen's opinion. I think we know where the problems are. So when we go on 9th Street, we realize you're gonna come across wildlife, you've got some tight turns, and so you just kind of drive it safer than if you were elsewhere.
But half of the people are. Which is great.
Thankfully, yes, most people.
Yeah. Can we, how would we progress? We just ask you to talk to Gary? Is that what we do, or
For
for a
marked
crosswalk?
crossing at College and 9th Street
Pioneer.
or Pioneer.
Isn't it?
You said it might be in the plan, so maybe we'd have to look at the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, I
If
know
it's
that
not-
I know there's quite a bit on College and Pioneer. Yeah, let me just look at it and get back to you. Let me look for sure and see what they've got
Thank
on
you.
their list.
That'd be great. Yeah, it'd be good to do that one, because scuttlebutt around town is that some people are generally careful going through town, but then they hit about Jonah's Market and they go fast because they don't realize that that's still downtown and it's still 25.
Trying to get ahead of a slow truck.
Yes, and they're trying to race, yes, and that's ridiculous. There's passing lanes to do that on. Okay. Any other discussion on North 9th Street? Okay, and the fireworks,
For that.
yes.
I thought I'll go ahead and leave because
Yeah.
I'm.
Dogs,
Good luck with the dog.
We got, in get vaccinated today that we were probably gonna take in some rescue pups. And one dog is not up to date on anything, so.
Good to do
Yeah,
it.
we had 50
Proactive.
miniature poodles in bed.
50? Oh my. Good luck.
Well, we're not gonna take 50.
I hear you. Sort of, okay. Firework ban.
All right, so it sounds like about a month or so ago, we had some citizen complaints about fireworks and proposing a potential ban for fireworks. Went back through and looked at our call data as far as, house fires or even brush fires that would have been started by fireworks that we were dispatched to, and we don't have any for the last 20 years.
None.
We do, around 4th of July, we do get dispatched for calls for service for that. Oftentimes that happens when we're busy taking other calls. So that's not our primary focus. Dispatch does a really good job of triaging those calls for us. Not all of them get handled, to be honest with you. I know in the past we've focused, Rich and I have worked together in the past to work on kind of an educational messaging program through Facebook and social media, and I think that can be pretty effective. But we just don't have the resources to start responding to fireworks calls when we've got these other things going on. I mean, our primary focus is going to be things that really affect community safety as far as like DUI enforcement and things like that, and that's going to be our primary focus during those times. So I definitely wouldn't be in support of a firework ban.
I did hear from 2 or 3 other citizens after the discussion came out, probably in the news, and there were some pretty strong thoughts about that. But
Is it mostly the ones that are being aerial things that are mostly
and there's
or
the
noise?
thing, there's some that are supposedly illegal in Oregon, but then if they set one off, nothing happens.
Yeah,
There's no fine or anything, so
yeah.
I'm not sure that that ordinance or whatever it is has much teeth behind it.
It is a misdemeanor crime to be in possession of illegal fireworks in Oregon, so it is a low-level misdemeanor crime. Like I said, again, the problem is trying the time and resources it takes to locate that, because you'll get one neighbor that will call that in and it sounded like it was in my backyard, and you respond to that street, there's nobody out there, there's no evidence of any fireworks. And, you go a block or two away, maybe a day or two later, and you do find remnants of that. And so those are hard to pinpoint. And I think there's 2 different complaints that we field. Sometimes we have citizens that are upset because their animals are bothered by the loud noises. And then we also get some other folks that are worried about the fire danger, depending on how much rain we've had and how dry some of the areas are in the neighborhoods where they're living, and if it butts up next to, by Starlight and some of those areas where there's some tall field grass and things. So, I mean, I think it would be better for us to partner with the fire department and continue to push out educational messaging through social media. I think that's, and also working with Brad to push something like that out early. I mean, I know his obviously his publication is widely read in our area.
Absolutely.
So.
What about drive-arounds? I mean, does the fire station have any volunteers that could take a vehicle and just drive around so that they have a visual connection?
We've actually done that before. As a duty officer, I would, and the moment that I disappear is the moment that they start up.
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of, it's kind of the nature of the beast, and we can't go until 1 o'clock in the morning, because they'll wait
No.
until 1 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning, the coast is clear, and they go out and they go bang, bang, bang.
And I guess to be clear, if we do, in fact, if our officers aren't tied up on another call, we get dispatched as a call for service for a firework complaint, we are going to go out and investigate that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Just saying, even driving and being visible
Yeah.
would perhaps deter, and you're right,
It does.
it might deter them for 10 minutes, I don't know, but it would show that we're on the job and looking for it.
Yeah, I think it's important, like Chief said, to kind of distinguish between the 2 complaints, right? If you're talking about illegal fireworks that are going up high, that may pose more of a fire risk, because I don't know, noise-wise, they're loud, but they could be just as loud on the ground, right? So that's not really the noise thing. That's if it's going up above whatever height it is, then it's the fire danger, I think, is where the focus is there.
Anything off the ground
Right.
is illegal.
Right.
You can't put anything in the air.
Right.
Even a sparkler, throwing a sparkler in the air is actually illegal.
So if the concern is on the fire danger, but what we're hearing is we've not had the fires that were reported to from that, and they're already illegal in the state of Oregon. So if somebody's going to break state law, then why do we think that having a city, ordinance or a city ban is going to prevent those people from doing it if they were going to do it anyway, right? Like, to me, I'm a little bit more afraid of state laws than I am local laws. If I'm going to break state law, then why do I care if my city's got a ban or not, right? Unless, again, they're going to be out in full force checking everything, which what we're hearing is we don't have the resources to do that, right? And even then, we can all get around that. It's very obvious when the
Yeah.
time is to let off illegal fireworks and the time is not appropriate to have illegal fireworks. It's usually about who's standing around. Is it the chief? Is it who's there? So I don't think there really is a way to take care of the fireworks, the illegal fireworks that are going high in the air, other than the educational information, to use care. You can reinforce, any firework that leaves the ground is illegal in the state of Oregon. Here's the ORS. Be smart, be safe, be legal, whatever the term needs to be. The noise complaints are different, right? I think if on the noise complaints, we've got a nuisance complaint for noise, but we make a big exception for it on the 4th of July and on New Year's, right? And that's a societal thing that we don't enforce our loud noise nuisance code on those holidays. We could, but again, now you're talking about tracking down every firework in town, and I just don't see that being overly successful either. I have two concerns on it. One is I don't want to get to a spot where we're forcing people out of the end of their street, which is all asphalt with sidewalks and watered lawns. And now we're going to push people out into the county, which is farmland that isn't as well irrigated, and forest land that's brittle and in fire danger. So I don't want to push celebrations out of the city into county areas, which is where they're going to go. I'd rather that take place at the end of the cul-de-sac with garden hoses and asphalt and sidewalk and watered lawns. So that's one concern on the fire. On the noise, it's a little callous, but if I know that my dog is gonna freak out because of the noise sensitivity, if it's 4th of July, I'm gonna find a place where I can go with my dog, where my dog's gonna have peace and quiet. And I don't really put it on the rest of my neighbors and the rest of my entire community to be quiet so that my dog doesn't freak out. I'm gonna take my dog and I'm gonna go camping. There's no fireworks in national parks. There's no fireworks in state parks. There's no fireworks out in county parks. There's a lot of places I can go to be very far away from fireworks if I know that that's gonna be an issue. So I think there is a little bit of turning the finger back and pointing at the owner and said, if you knew your dog was gonna have a stressful situation here, what steps did you take to prevent that, other than hope that nobody else was going to let off fireworks, where what the result's going to be of that, right? So I do point the finger back on the owners a little bit and say, take some responsibility as a pet owner and take your dog someplace where it's not going to be exposed to all of the fireworks. And maybe that's a little bit callous. I think it's a matter of taking responsibility for your pets. I've got two dogs. The fireworks don't bother them. They've grown up with them. They know what to expect. They go out, they sit next to us on the chairs. They watch the fireworks. They don't have any problems with it. So we don't, I personally don't have an obligation to feel like I got to take them out of the city to get away from it. So I'm fortunate, but I recognize that other people don't have that luxury, right? Some dogs and cats, whenever, don't do as well with it. I look at the pet owner and say, help your pet out, get him out of town.
If it was every single day, this would be a totally different conversation. It really is around these national holidays. And so basically everything you said, I kind of concur with that. That would be my perspective as well. It's not diminishing the experience, because I do know it can be quite distressing for animals, but I think you kind of gave a partial solution for some. So I concur with what you said.
I take my dogs inside and turn on the music loud, and I sit with them. So we're fine, and that's what you're saying, and that's what I do. But in my neighborhood, it is not just 4th of July and New Year's. It's at least the week before and after on a regular basis. And, well, some of the people moved recently that used to do that all the time. We knew exactly who was doing it, and anyway, but I still am hearing it on days around that. And I wish we could maybe push that we'll tolerate it for 4th of July and New Year's, but not the days before or after. They go down and they buy their fireworks and they get excited, they want to use them. So they just start setting them off. And I understand, but I don't want to hear it necessarily.
Yeah, and I think those off days are even harder to enforce than the on days, when you know it's coming. It's one thing when you're assuming it might go off 4 days ahead of time. That's even harder to enforce until after. But
Back to the educational piece, I think we did a good job of giving some examples of when it's time to call dispatch and when it's not, because I know a number of years ago, dispatch got inundated with calls specifically about fireworks complaints in Philomath, and they just got so overwhelmed that they couldn't handle them anymore, which is a dangerous thing too, because we want them focusing on, a real need for calls for service, right? Whether it be police or fire. And so sometimes people don't know when to call 911. And I think that last publication that we put out did a good job of giving examples of when to do that and when not, and also to be mindful that dispatch only has so many resources on those days too.
And
Yeah, I'd encourage-
expanding the campaign
Yeah.
with Brad at the Philomath News and before, to start doing it 2 weeks before, saying, hey, it's coming, so.
Yeah, I like the idea of a testimonial from Counselor Crocker with a picture of her with her 2 dogs, the music on, saying, I can do this on the 4th of July, but I don't want to have to do it the 1st through the 10th, right?
I think
It's
that
like,
would be,
we'll just do kind of an informational campaign. It's like, look, I'll put up for a day, but please, don't let a fireworks before or after the 4th. I'll put up with a day. I can leave town for a day, but I can't not be here for a week, right?
Elsewhere or whatever,
Sure. So yeah, maybe it's a few testimonials, something just to educate people. Yeah, I think twice.
It's not gonna resolve it 100%. It just, people are gonna do it. Probably aren't reaching too much into social media or reading the newspaper anyway. Like that.
Yes.
I will just add, there's a certain nonprofit organization in town that typically does a large firework display the week after the 4th of July. That might be moving to the 4th of July.
That would be great.
And so that might help resolve the need for people who feel like they gotta left their own big ones as well, if there's something already happened on the 4th of July.
We encourage you to save your money and go to the,
But I think Corvallis
Yeah,
sees
that
that
was a
with their
public
fireworks
display.
display down by the river. There's a lot of people that, they pack up and go spend the evening down there rather than buying, fireworks locally and doing them in their own neighborhoods. So I could see how that would have a positive effect here.
That might be coming about, and there's several reasons, but the main one is with the expansion of the facility, we need an expansion of parking, which is gonna roll into Mary's River, which is where the fireworks get let off from. So we kind of need that space more for parking than we do for lighting fireworks. So one of the solutions they're looking at, that we'll talk about, I think this Thursday, is do we move that firework night from Friday night of the Frolic to the 4th? Still do the community celebration, still do it at no cost, the whole bit. We could even still open up the rodeo grounds to it, because that weekend, we don't need all the parking, right? So that weekend, we could still do it the same location, same everything. And then we just wouldn't do it on the Frolic weekend. We'd have it done the week before. So, a little bit of shift, a little bit of change, but that might have a big impact as well, as far as, like the chief was saying, who's willing to spend a bunch of money and let off their own, go overstate and buy illegal ones and bring them back and do all that, when you could just go down to the rodeo grounds and have a good show there. So we'll see. Might help resolve things a little bit.
sounds like a good step in the right direction.
And it would be one fewer night of the year that we wouldn't have fireworks, right? Because we wouldn't have fireworks the week after. It'd be that week of, that same night that everybody else is letting them off. So
That'd be good.
maybe one less night that Counselor Crocker's sitting on the chair with their dogs, with the music blasting.
The couch was made. That's where we're at, but we're comfortable. But I used to have dogs that were very scared, and one of them crawled under the deck and got stuck, and it was a really awful,
that's right.
awful thing.
A lot of
So I learned.
From a neighborhood standpoint, then you can get Dan Eddy or somebody like that from the fire department to say something from a perspective of, hey, once they go up in the air, you can't control it anymore.
Right.
And it's not just the fields, it's people's roofs and people's
And life,
backyards
yeah,
and like that, right? I think that would be extremely effective.
And potential injuries. I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
think
it puts a face and a.
This is,
Leave it to the pros.
yes.
Anyway, there's some campaigns out there. We could definitely do a better job this year getting information out, but I agree with the chief on, I think trying to ban it, try to whatever, you're just creating false expectations, I think, what would we really be able to do? So
You're between two factions fighting. We need to plan our next meeting. Does anybody have opinions. I'm gone in January a lot. We could do December 9th, or we could wait till February, or we could do December and February, every month, like we originally had said.
I think originally we were getting quarterly.
Originally, yeah,
Yeah, and
this year, yeah.
if we've got something that pops up that warrants having an extra meeting, I'm more than willing to do that.
Okay.
And it's quarterly, but not in a 1, 2, 3. In other words, it wouldn't have to be October, January, it could be October, March.
Sure.
In theory, okay,
Yeah.
just to clarify that point.
Yeah.
So it could be
February,
February and it's still quarterly.
Yeah.
I guess just with holidays in December and
I agree.
maybe I would
It's-
prefer first quarter,
it's
Q1.
plenty crowded, yes.
Yeah.
So, February 10th, that's a Tuesday, is that what we like?
February 10th, that works for me.
Second Tuesday at 3 p.m.?
Yep.
Yes, sounds good.
So far. Okay,
It's right, weird to write 2026.
yes. Calendar, we'll be there. I don't know what happened. I thought it
Does
was
this time of day work for everybody still?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
welcome.
All right. If there's nothing else, we will adjourn this meeting at 3:36 p.m. on the 7th of October.